What's going on, Blue Crew? It's your boy Big Blue here again with another Borderlands 3 video. So today I have my version 2 of my minigun MOZE build. The first MOZE build I ever did. I did have to switch the guns up and the skill tree because, as we know, power creep in this game has really changed the way the game is. Hopefully with the phases that they're coming out with, we can change that back and actually be able to use some other guns. I really like the damage that I got from this build, and I love how it's able to handle any content with ease. Yes, it's mainly a mobbing build, but as you can see, I'm using an OPQ system and I'm still able to down Trump with no problem, and it's nowhere near my strongest weapon. But without any further ado, let's get into the build. Okay guys, one of the main things I do want to show you is show you that you can use any weapon that I have and you'll be able to do very good damage. I've already done a build with the calcium. I've done a build called Controlled Chaos is what the name of that build was. I did with MOZE, and that build was just incredible. I actually think this build may do more damage because it increases that splash damage the longer I'm able to shoot. But not just that, the splash damage actually works for the OPQ system also. It works for the OPQ system because it has the chance to spawn that extra splash shock damage, you know? And that coupled with me using, light the fuse, that gives me that splash damage when I hit a critical shot, just makes these two guns crazy. I'm also going to be using, of course, the new ion cannon. That's what I love to call it, guys, but a yellow cake. And I have a plague barrier for when you do go to do the takedown. You'll have no problem with the Kraken, no problem with the Valkyries or anything like that. And when you get to Wotan, if he is flying around, you can use the calcium or you can use the OPQ system to get him back down so you can go ahead and finish him with one of those two guns. The major difference I tell you when it comes to that would be to switch your shield, I'm sorry. But let's go over the first part of the build and we'll get right back into this footage. Okay, starting this off, I have this OPQ system here. I have one with those consecutive hits. I'm also using the pearls, so those two coupled together do some very nasty damage. I think the OPQ system, like I said earlier, is a great gun. Yellow Cake is a new ion cannon. There's not too much more to say about it other than you can one-shot almost any enemy in the game other than Wotan. So the calcium and the OPQ system are going to be the main weapons that you're using. When it comes to the yellow cake and the plague bearer, you're only going to use those two weapons when you want to down bosses mainly. But I'm going to show you some clips later on of me downing bosses with every one of these weapons, so you know that it is viable with any weapon I have, including this plague bearer here that is corrosive, and I will be using it on Triton and still does millions of damage. My two heavy weapons I'm using with that 300% anointment. I'm using a transformer with that all incoming damage is reduced, just to give me some more survivability. Using a blast master just with that for that extra splash damage, with splash damage, SMG damage, and assault rifle damage. Like I said, using that pearl, increase that damage because it's multiplicative. And I'm using the cloning maddening tracker just for some health regen. They've changed her trees a little bit, so she has more health regen, and we'll go over that later. But let's get back to the footage, guys. Okay, next up I want to show you guys how the OPQ system performs in this build. And as you see, nothing stands a chance. You would think that it only works well against the shock, but because of the extra splash damage and the critical hits that MOZE has, it makes it work really well against Incendiary. I've also tried it in the takedown, it works well there. I've tried it with every type of enemy and every element type, and it just performs amazingly. Honestly, I haven't made a full build with the OPQ system on any character yet, but I definitely plan on it because this gun is just powerful. Again, it could be just the power creep from the new weapons they released when they released Mayhem 10. Okay guys, let's go over the bottomless mags tree. I have 5 points into Cloud of Lead. I have Stoke the Embers, got 3 points into that. Redistribution, I have 2 points into that, one from my class mod. One of the points that you wouldn't think was important is this Scrappy. 5 points there just for that weapon damage. It just helps me when I'm moving. And I'm always trying to be running because when I'm running, let's go over Scourging RPMs first. I'm sorry for that critical hit and that fire rate to help me. But the reason Scurry works so well is because of rushing offense. That extra lifesteal plus that extra damage, they're crazy, man. They work together so well that I had to have both of them. And they just increase my damage so much. As you can see from me, I'm going back to the OPQ system. Well, to the footage, just so you can see that no, it wasn't just a fluke that you saw there. We all know the calcium can perform well, so I didn't show you too much about that one. I want you to see that this gun also performs well in this build. With those extra explosions, they kill most things before I'm able to. So it's good AoE damage to kill all the enemies around you. And I mean, this is one of the easiest run-throughs I've ever had of here on Mayhem 10. It's because everything dies so fast. And so one main thing I do want to point out though, your shields are not your main thing. You're going to have so much life still and be getting so much life back that your shields don't matter as much. Another idea I had, but I couldn't get to work specifically how I wanted it to, was I was going to try a Brawler's Ward for that extra damage. I did it and my damage was crazy, but my lifesteal couldn't keep up with not having a shield pretty much. So I had to go back to having a transformer. I had a stopgap. So the shields I recommend on this, a stopgap, a transformer, even a brawler if you can get it to work. But let's go over the blue tree, guys, and we'll be right back. All right, right into the Demolition Woman tree. Fire in the Skag Dam. We're gonna max that out for that incinerate damage. This is how we get a lot of our damages with that. Grizzle just for that cooldown rate. This is where we get a lot of our damage from, that torque cross promotion with that splash damage and that radius. It helps me AoE a lot of people at once. Means of Destruction just for that ammo chance and that grenade chance, honestly. I got Pull the Holy Pin for those critical hit chances. I'm actually working on a full grenade build for Mayhem 10. I do have it where it kills them in 2 shots, but it's hard to do. I also have Vampire just for that extra health, 7 points into that. I'm using Explosive Punctuation for some more action skill cooldown. And this is the skill I'm talking about that gives me all that extra damage that I need. Short Fuse. I had the name wrong earlier, but Short Fuse is the name of it. I'm using the Iron Bear skill so I can keep him up when I do jump out of him. I tried to do something different with that, but I think that still applies really well to this build. But let's get right back into it. First up, we have, of course, the new ion cannon. We have the Yellow Gate, guys. And we knew this wasn't going to take long. It took me 2 shots to kill him. It's the new ion cannon. You can't expect anything less. Next and last, I'm only going to show you the 2 heavy weapons, or my 2 boss killing weapons. The next one is going to be the Plague Bearer. Main thing with the Plague Bearer, you want to make sure you're actually hitting them with the main orb, not the little traveling orbs, because as you see, it does considerably more damage, and it actually pulls enemies into that one enemy to do more damage to them. Really good gun, works out really good in the takedown or for anybody that has armor on. Perfect weapon for that. That's why I included it in this build. All right, let's get into the skill tree, guys. So going right into the Shield of Retribution skill tree, I only have 2 skill points in here. Armored Infantry, I have 5 points into that for that extra gun damage and for that damage reduction while my shield is active, just so I can get some more damage and some damage reduction while I'm at it. You know, it doesn't hurt to have that extra. And Drowning in Brass for that extra gun damage, which this is why one of the main reasons that it is a mobbing build. I really loved how this build came together and how I got so much damage and so much lifesteal out of the Bottomless Max tree. Blue Crew, as always, stay medicated, stay elevated. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like, share the video. To the next one, guys. Peace.